A catastrophic winter storm is barreling toward the southern United States right now, and what happens in the next 72 hours could leave millions without power for up to a week. This is not a drill. Over 60 million Americans are directly in the path of what meteorologists are calling a once-in-a-decade weather event. Here is what nobody is telling you. This storm is not just bringing snow, it is bringing something far more dangerous: ice. Thick, heavy ice that can snap power lines like toothpicks and turn highways into skating rinks, and it is moving so slowly that some cities could see precipitation falling continuously for 48 hours straight. In the next 30 seconds, I am going to reveal which major cities are facing the highest risk, and by minute 5 of this forecast, you will know exactly when this storm hits your area and what you need to do right now to protect your family. But first, you need to understand why this particular storm has every meteorologist in the country on high alert. Right now, a massive Arctic air mass is plunging south out of Canada. We are talking about air so cold that wind chills could reach 60 degrees below zero in parts of the Midwest. At the exact same time, warm, moisture-laden air from the Gulf of Mexico is surging northward. When these two air masses collide on Friday, the result will be explosive. The National Weather Service has already issued winter storm watches affecting over 15 states. That is 15 states. From Texas to Virginia, from Oklahoma to the Carolinas, this storm is going to impact an area larger than the entire country of France. The last time we saw a storm of this magnitude across the southern states was back in 2014, and that event left over 700,000 people without power for more than 5 days. But here is where this gets really concerning. Unlike typical winter storms that race through in 12 to 24 hours, computer models are showing this system could stall. Imagine snow and freezing rain falling continuously in Dallas for 2 full days, in Little Rock for 48 hours, in Nashville potentially even longer. The accumulation potential is staggering. Let me give you some numbers that should get your attention. Oklahoma City could see up to 12 inches of snow. Little Rock, Arkansas is looking at 10 to 14 inches. Nashville could receive anywhere from 8 to 16 inches. But those are just the snow totals. The real nightmare scenario involves ice. Dallas and Fort Worth are facing the possibility of over 1 inch of ice accumulation. 1 full inch. To put that in perspective, just a 1/4 inch of ice is enough to bring down power lines. 1/2 inch can snap tree branches that have stood for 50 years. 1 inch? That is catastrophic territory. We are talking about the weight of a small car sitting on every power line in the city. Shreveport, Louisiana could see similar ice accumulation. Monroe, Louisiana is in the danger zone. Northern Alabama, including Huntsville, is facing a potential ice storm that could rival anything they have seen in the past 20 years. And Atlanta, Georgia, a city that famously struggles with even minor winter weather, could be looking at significant ice accumulation throughout Saturday and Sunday. Now, you might be wondering, when exactly does this nightmare begin? Stay with me, because the timeline is critical, and what I am about to share at minute 3:20 could save you from being stranded on a highway. Friday morning is when this all kicks off. By noon on Friday, snow and freezing rain will already be falling across parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas. Notice I said noon. That is right in the middle of the workday, right when kids are at school, right when highways are packed with traffic. This is why school districts across Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas are already preparing for widespread closures starting Friday. By Friday afternoon, the precipitation expands rapidly. The Red River Valley, which separates Texas and Oklahoma, will be under heavy snow and freezing rain. Cities like Amarillo, Tulsa, and Fayetteville, Arkansas, will see conditions deteriorate quickly. If you have Friday afternoon travel plans in any of these areas, cancel them now. Seriously. This is not the time to test your winter driving skills. Friday night into Saturday morning, that is when this storm truly explodes in size. Heavy snow will blanket Kansas and Missouri. Memphis, Tennessee will wake up to snow falling at 6 a.m. Saturday morning. But here is the kicker. While the northern tier of this storm is getting heavy snow, the southern edge is getting hammered with freezing rain. Early Saturday morning, a corridor from Dallas all the way east to Huntsville, Alabama becomes ground zero for what could be a crippling ice storm. This is that Interstate 10 corridor I mentioned earlier. Everything along that line, Dallas, Shreveport, Monroe, northern Louisiana, Florence, Alabama, you are all at extreme risk for major ice accumulation Saturday. And it does not stop there. By Saturday afternoon, Atlanta starts seeing freezing rain. Let that sink in. Atlanta, a metropolitan area of 6 million people, facing a significant ice storm. If you remember what happened in Atlanta during their ice storm in 2014, when the entire city ground to a halt and people were trapped in their cars overnight on the highways, you know this is serious. Saturday daytime continues the onslaught. Moderate to heavy snow keeps falling across Oklahoma, southern Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, and southern Kentucky. This is hour 12, hour 18, hour 24 of continuous precipitation in some areas. The snow just keeps piling up. Roads that were plowed in the morning are buried again by afternoon. Here is something most forecasts are not emphasizing enough. This storm is moving so slowly that by Saturday night, some areas will have been under winter precipitation for over 30 hours already, and they still have another 24 hours to go. That kind of prolonged event is extremely rare in the southern United States. Saturday night, Nashville and Memphis see their heaviest snow rates. Little Rock transitions from ice back to snow, which actually sounds like good news until you realize that snow is now falling on top of ice, creating a nearly impossible surface to navigate. Dallas and Fort Worth continue seeing nothing but freezing rain all day Saturday. Imagine freezing rain clicking against your windows for 12 straight hours. That is the reality facing North Texas. By Sunday morning, this is still a massive winter storm stretching from New Mexico all the way through the mid-Atlantic states. That is over 1,500 miles of active winter weather. Freezing rain is still falling from the Carolinas back into North Texas, possibly even reaching as far south as Houston. Yes, Houston, Texas could see winter precipitation from this storm. The heaviest snow by early Sunday will be pounding Virginia, Kentucky, and Tennessee. This is when power outages really start becoming a major problem in these areas. Tree branches that have been accumulating ice and snow for 36 hours start snapping. Power lines come down, transformers blow, and remember, this is happening in the middle of an Arctic outbreak. Sunday daytime, freezing rain continues across the Carolinas and potentially as far south as Houston. The exact southern extent of this winter precipitation is still uncertain. It depends on how fast or slow this storm moves. But if you are in Houston, New Orleans, or anywhere along the Gulf Coast, you need to be paying attention to this forecast over the next 48 hours. We do not exactly know when this storm finally ends, but current models suggest it tapers off by Monday as it moves off the East Coast. However, and this is crucial, even after the precipitation ends, the problems are just beginning for many areas. Because behind this storm comes extreme cold across almost the entire eastern United States. Let me explain why that matters. Many areas will see 80 to 100 hours of continuous below freezing temperatures starting Saturday. That means any ice that accumulates on Saturday or Sunday will not melt until Tuesday or Wednesday. Power crews trying to restore electricity will be working in temperatures that feel like 0 degrees or below. Repair times will be significantly longer than normal. By Sunday morning, wind chills in North Texas could be right around 0 degrees Fahrenheit. 0 degrees. In Dallas, with potentially no power, no heat. This is why preparation is so critical right now. This is not just a snow day scenario. This is a potential emergency situation. Now, I promised you detailed information at minute 5, and here it is. Let me break down the snowfall potential city by city, because these numbers are absolutely shocking. Oklahoma City, you are looking at 8 to 12 inches of snow, with some models suggesting up to 14 inches in localized areas. That would make this one of the top 5 snowstorms in Oklahoma City history. Little Rock, Arkansas. Current projections show 10 to 14 inches, with the European model being particularly aggressive, showing up to 16 inches. Little Rock has never seen 16 inches of snow in a single storm in recorded history. Nashville, Tennessee. The range here is wide, from 8 inches on the low end to 16 inches on the high end. The uncertainty comes from exactly where the heaviest snow band sets up, but even the conservative estimate of 8 inches would shut down Nashville for days. Memphis, you are in a similar boat, looking at 6 to 12 inches. Tulsa, Oklahoma, projecting 6 to 10 inches Fayetteville, Arkansas, 8 to 12 inches. Springfield, Missouri, 10 to 14 inches. These are not normal snow totals for the southern United States. These are historic numbers. But now, let me talk about the East Coast. Because what could happen in Virginia, North Carolina, and Kentucky is absolutely insane. The European model is showing the potential for over 1 foot of snow in parts of Virginia. Over 1 foot, Richmond, Virginia could see 10 to 16 inches. Roanoke could see similar amounts. Western North Carolina, including Asheville, could receive 8 to 14 inches. Northern Georgia, particularly the mountainous areas, could see 6 to 12 inches. Even parts of extreme southeastern Tennessee could pick up over a foot. Washington, D.C. is showing the possibility of 8 to 10 inches in some model runs. The National Weather Service blend of models is showing some localized areas near Nashville and extending toward Virginia Beach with the potential for up to 2 feet of snow. 2 feet, that is 24 inches. That would be absolutely catastrophic for these areas. Now, I need to be clear about something. These numbers will change over the next 48 hours. They could go up, they could go down. The winter storm watches currently in effect are only calling for 4 inches or greater, which is very conservative because meteorologists do not want to commit to these higher numbers until they have more confidence in exactly where the heaviest snow band will set up. But the trend has been toward higher amounts with each new model run, and that is concerning. When models start trending upward instead of downward, it usually means the atmosphere is organizing in a way that supports a significant event. Now let me address the elephant in the room. The ice. This is by far the most dangerous aspect of this entire winter storm, and I am not exaggerating when I say this could lead to widespread power outages lasting up to a week in some areas. From West Texas all the way to Atlanta, Georgia, we could be talking about over half an inch of ice accumulation between Friday and Sunday. Half an inch does not sound like much until you see what it does. It coats every surface, every tree branch, every power line, every road. It turns the entire world into glass. Ice accumulation of this magnitude has the potential to cause catastrophic infrastructure damage. We are not just talking about slippery roads. We are talking about power out for days, possibly weeks in some areas. We are talking about trees falling on houses, power lines down across major roads, emergency vehicles unable to reach people who need help. Areas at highest risk for catastrophic ice include southern Arkansas, North Texas, northern Louisiana, and parts of northern Georgia, including the Atlanta metro area. If you live in these areas, you need to prepare as if you will be without power for at least 3 to 5 days. That is not fear-mongering. That is the reality of what half an inch of ice can do to electrical infrastructure. The GFS model has the ice a bit further south, showing significant accumulation even into southwest Mississippi. The European model has been more focused on the Interstate 30 corridor from Dallas through Little Rock and over toward Memphis. The National Weather Service blend shows a broad area of ice risk from Dallas and Amarillo all the way through northern Mississippi and northern Georgia. In northern Georgia and upstate South Carolina, some model runs are showing the potential for 2 to 12 inches of freezing rain, which does not mean 2 to 12 inches of ice will accumulate on surfaces, but we would still be talking about over half an inch of ice for most of northern Georgia if current trends continue. Here is what you need to do right now if you are in any of the affected areas. And I mean right now, today, Wednesday, or Thursday, not Friday morning when everyone else is panicking. First, make sure you have your medications ready to go. If you take prescription medications and you are running low, call your pharmacy today and get refills. If power goes out for 5 days, you cannot get to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy might not have power anyway. Second, charge every device you own. Phones, tablets, laptops, portable battery banks. Charge them all fully and keep them charged. If power goes out, your phone is your lifeline to the outside world. Make sure you have car chargers as well. Third, if you have a generator, test it now. Make sure it runs. Make sure you have fuel for it. If you do not have a generator and you can afford one, today would be the day to go get one. They will be sold out by Friday morning. Fourth, stock up on flashlights and batteries. Do not rely on your phone for light if the power goes out for days. You need to conserve your phone battery for communication. Fifth, water. Fill up some containers with water just in case. If power goes out, Water treatment plants can have issues. It is better to have water and not need it than need it and not have it. Sixth, food. Get some non-perishable food items that do not require cooking. Crackers, canned goods, protein bars. If power goes out, your refrigerator stops working. And if you have a gas stove, great. But many people have electric stoves. Seventh, and this is important, do not wait until Friday to go to the grocery store. The panic buying starts Thursday evening, and by Friday morning, stores will be stripped bare. Go today. Go Thursday morning at the latest. Now, let me talk about the extreme cold, because this is another layer of danger that many people are not fully grasping. This storm is being driven by a massive Arctic air mass diving out of Canada. We are talking about some of the coldest air we have seen in years. Friday and Saturday morning, parts of the Midwest and Northern Plains could see wind chills as low as 60 degrees below zero. Negative 60 degrees. That is instant frostbite territory. That is dangerous just to be outside for 5 minutes. By early next week, that Arctic air plunges all the way through the Gulf Coast and Southeast. Temperatures Friday morning will drop as low as negative 30 degrees in the Midwest and Northern Plains. Saturday marks the beginning of 80 to 100 hours of continuous freezing temperatures from Texas through Georgia. Think about what that means. If ice accumulates on your power lines Saturday morning and temperatures stay below freezing until Tuesday or Wednesday, that ice is not going anywhere. Power crews will be working in brutal cold to try to restore electricity. It is going to take time. A lot of time. This is why I keep emphasizing preparation. This is not a typical southern snow event where it melts in 2 days and life goes back to normal. This is a prolonged, dangerous winter weather event combined with extreme cold. The combination is what makes this so concerning. Now, I want to show you something that really drives home how serious this is. The National Weather Service has already issued winter storm watches for portions of 15 states. 15 states. That almost never happens. Winter storm watches mean that conditions are favorable for a significant winter storm within the next 48 to 72 hours. These watches extend from the Texas Panhandle all the way to Virginia, from Kansas down through Arkansas, from Oklahoma over to Tennessee and Kentucky, from Louisiana up through the Carolinas. This is a huge area, and every single National Weather Service office in this region is preparing for a major event. What makes this storm particularly challenging to forecast is the track uncertainty. A shift of just 50 miles north or south can mean the difference between all snow and all ice for some cities. A shift of just a few hours in timing can mean the difference between rain and freezing rain. This is why you are seeing such wide ranges in the forecast amounts. The atmosphere is setting up for a major storm. That much is certain. But the exact details of where the heaviest snow falls, where the most ice accumulates, those details will not become clear until Friday, when it is too late to prepare. So the smart move is to prepare for the worst-case scenario. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. If you prepare for a week without power, and you only lose power for 1 day, great, you are over-prepared. But if you do nothing and you lose power for a week, you are going to have a very difficult and potentially dangerous situation on your hands. I want to address something else that is really important. If you know anyone who is elderly or vulnerable in any of the affected areas, check on them. Make sure they have what they need. Make sure they have a plan if power goes out. Elderly people are at much higher risk during extended power outages, especially when combined with extreme cold. If you have neighbors who might need help, offer it now. This is the time for communities to come together and look out for each other. In past winter storms across the South, we have seen amazing stories of neighbors helping neighbors, sharing generators, sharing food, checking on the elderly. That community spirit is going to be crucial this weekend. For those of you in areas that might see primarily snow rather than ice, you still have significant challenges ahead. 8 to 12 inches of snow in places like Oklahoma City, Nashville, or Little Rock will shut those cities down completely. These are not cities with massive snow removal budgets or fleets of snowplows. A foot of snow in Nashville has the same impact as 2 feet of snow in Minneapolis. Roads will be impassable. Do not try to drive in these conditions unless it is an absolute emergency. Every winter storm, we see people who think they can handle driving in the snow. And every winter storm, we see those people end up in ditches or worse. The risk is not worth it. If you absolutely must travel during this storm, Make sure you have a full tank of gas, a charged phone, warm clothes in your car, some water and snacks, and let someone know your route and when you expect to arrive. But honestly, the best advice is just do not travel at all between Friday and Monday if you are anywhere in the affected area. Now let me talk about what happens after the storm, because in some ways, the aftermath is going to be even more challenging than the storm itself. Power restoration after a major ice storm can take a very long time. We are not talking hours. We are talking days or weeks in some cases. The problem is that ice storms damage the entire electrical grid simultaneously. It is not just one transformer or one power line. It is thousands of power lines, hundreds of transformers, countless tree branches on wires. Power companies have to systematically go through and repair everything, and they have to do it in brutal cold with ice-covered equipment. After the ice storm in 2014, some areas in the South were without power for over 2 weeks. Some rural areas even longer. Now, hopefully, we do not see that level of damage from this storm, but the potential is there, especially in that corridor from Dallas through Little Rock to Memphis and down toward Atlanta. This is also why having a generator is so important. But if you run a generator, you must do it safely. Never run a generator inside your house or garage. The carbon monoxide can kill you. Run it outside, away from windows and doors. Make sure you have proper ventilation. Also, be smart about what you power with your generator. You do not need to power your entire house. Power your refrigerator for a few hours a day to keep food cold. Power some lights. Charge your phones. Keep it simple. A small generator running efficiently can get you through several days. For those without generators, there are other strategies. If power goes out, seal off one room in your house to heat. It is much easier to keep one room warm than your entire house. Use blankets. Dress in layers. Body heat can keep a small room surprisingly warm even without power. If temperatures inside your house drop below 50 degrees for an extended period, you might need to go stay with friends or family who have power, or go to a warming shelter. Many communities open warming shelters during extended power outages. Do not be too proud to use them. They are there for a reason. Now, I need to talk about something that a lot of people forget during winter storms. Your pipes. When temperatures drop below freezing for extended periods, especially if you lose power and heat, your pipes can freeze. Frozen pipes can burst, causing thousands of dollars in water damage. If you lose power, open cabinet doors under sinks to let warm air circulate around pipes. Let faucets drip slightly. Moving water is less likely to freeze. If you have an outdoor faucet, disconnect hoses and cover it. If you have a crawl space, make sure any pipes there are insulated. One more critical point about timing. Friday morning, the storm starts in Oklahoma and Arkansas. But by Sunday, it is affecting Virginia and the Carolinas. That is a 3-day event. 3 full days of winter weather impacts across a huge area. This is not a fast-moving system. The slow movement is both good and bad. It is bad because it means prolonged precipitation and higher accumulations. But it is good because it gives areas on the eastern side of the storm more time to prepare. If you are in Virginia or the Carolinas, you have until Saturday to watch how this storm evolves and prepare accordingly. But do not wait until Saturday. Start preparing now. The trends have been consistent for the past 48 hours. This is happening. The only questions are exactly where the worst impacts will be and exactly how much snow and ice will fall. I also want to mention travel impacts beyond just local roads. This storm is going to shut down airports across the South and Southeast. Dallas-Fort Worth, one of the busiest airports in the country, could be closed for extended periods Saturday and Sunday. Same with Atlanta, another massive hub. Nashville, Memphis, Little Rock, all will likely have significant flight cancellations. If you have travel plans this weekend anywhere in the affected area, contact your airline now. See if you can change your flight to earlier in the week or later next week. Do not wait until Friday, when millions of other people are trying to do the same thing. For those of you who are new to winter weather, let me explain ice accumulation one more time because I really want you to understand why this is so dangerous. When freezing rain falls, it is liquid when it hits the ground, but it instantly freezes on contact. This creates a coating of solid ice on everything. A quarter-inch coating might not sound like much, but ice is heavy, very heavy. A 1-inch coating of ice on a power line can add 500 pounds of extra weight per span of wire. Power lines are not designed to hold that much extra weight. They snap. Trees cannot hold that weight either. Branches break. Those branches often fall on power lines, causing more outages. This is different from snow. Snow accumulates, but it is relatively light. Ice is dense and heavy. This is why meteorologists get so concerned when we see potential for significant ice accumulation. It is not just slippery, it is destructive. All right, let me give you the timeline one more time, step by step, so you know exactly what to expect and when. Thursday, the Arctic air starts pushing south. Temperatures drop across the plains and Midwest. Nothing happening yet, but the stage is being set. Friday morning, snow and freezing rain begin in Oklahoma and Arkansas around noon. Friday afternoon, precipitation expands to include North Texas, more of Arkansas, parts of Kansas, and Missouri. Friday night into Saturday morning, the storm explodes in coverage. Heavy snow across Kansas, Missouri, southern parts of the Midwest. Ice storm conditions develop from Dallas to Shreveport to northern Alabama. Saturday daytime. Continued heavy snow and ice across a huge area. Atlanta begins seeing freezing rain. Memphis and Nashville getting heavy snow. Dallas-Fort Worth under freezing rain for 12-plus hours. Saturday night, heaviest snow rates in Tennessee. Little Rock transitions from ice to snow. Freezing rain continues across North Texas and into Alabama. Sunday, the storm shifts east. Heavy snow in Virginia and the Carolinas. Freezing rain possibly as far south as Houston. East Coast begins seeing significant impacts. Monday, the storm finally moves offshore. Precipitation ends. But temperatures remain well below freezing across almost all affected areas. Ice and snow will not melt. Power restoration continues. So, what is the bottom line here? This is a dangerous, potentially historic winter storm for the southern United States. The combination of heavy snow, significant ice accumulation, extreme cold, and slow storm movement creates a perfect storm of problems. If you are in the affected area, now is the time to prepare. Not Friday, not Saturday, now. Get your supplies, charge your devices, make your plans, check on vulnerable neighbors. Do not travel this weekend if you can avoid it. And please, share this information with your friends and family in the affected areas. The more people who are prepared, the better we all are. This is going to be a challenging few days for a huge portion of the country, but if we prepare properly and help each other out, we will get through it. One final thing. The models will continue updating every 6 hours between now and Friday. Things could still change. The storm could shift north or south. Amounts could go up or down. This is why it is so important to stay informed. Keep checking the latest forecasts. Pay attention to warnings from your local National Weather Service office. But remember, even if the details change, the overall threat remains. This is going to be a significant winter storm no matter what. The question is just how significant for your specific location. Stay safe out there, prepare now, help your neighbors, and we will all get through this together. This is the kind of storm that communities will remember for years. Make sure you are ready for it.